Now, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. Okay, it's not going to work. Okay, I won't be a minute, guys. I just have to stop this one. Go back to this one. And we're away. So, the thing is, I'm not sure if I can see anybody in the chat room. But I couldn't wait to get going, so here I am. Just to see if I can communicate. I don't think so, but I'll try it. Okay. So here I am. Good evening. It's 7:54. I couldn't wait for the hour of 6 o'clock, which is my due time to start my broadcast. I've been away from the limelight, you might say, since Wednesday. It seems such a long time ago. But it is the 5th of May, June, 5th of June today, this evening at 17:55 p.m. And I am Julz and Paekau, addressing the Billion Coin community, and so very happy to be here. Now, it's been a bit of a harrowing week for me, and I tried my best to, find alternative ways of doing my broadcast due to the fact that my channel had been terminated. However, in saying that, it was a bit of a chore dealing with the soreness in my hip, as I had a biopsy done on Wednesday, and they took a bit of bone and a bit of marrow and a bit of blood and, you know, the rest of it. But, however, I'm so happy to be here. Now, I've named this broadcast Tissue Treatment. I think that's what I named it. But I'm talking about having the ability to lose control of a consent form, which I typically had signed before I went under the anaesthetic, before having my surgery last Wednesday. Now, I'd like to take you to a form, a consent form. I'm going to go through a sort of a procedure as to what happened to me last Wednesday when I went into hospital to have the procedure done. So let me share my screen and I'll walk you through the process of how things happened for me last week. Okay, I'll just bring this up. Here's my document. Okay. Here I have a series of photos put together. Now, I've left them small because they all concern me. But what I have here is name of the cancer that I have. Now, it's called multiple myeloma. Now, what it is that I have a plasma defect. That means that my bone marrow gives off too much, oh gosh, I've forgotten where it was. The bone marrow produces excessive amounts of abnormal plasma cells. Unlike other cancers where there is a tumor, these cancer cells most often exist throughout the bone marrow and blood, although a tumor can form in the bone. So this is what it has. The plasma cells give excessive amounts of abnormal plasma cells. So it's like a type of leukemia, blood, and it affects the marrow inside my bone. And so therefore I need to have calcium intake to attack the cancer that's existing in my bones. Now, why am I going through this with you? It's very important, I believe. So this is what I have, and it's called multiple myeloma. Now, right here, I know it's a bit blurry, but this is a consent form. Over this side, it says, I do not give permission for my tissues to be removed. And on this side is my signature. So before I went under the anaesthetic, I did not consent to give permission for them to take my tissues and store them. And here's my signature. So I did this before I went under the anaesthetic last week on Wednesday morning. And so here I am. I made it very small because I'm a very big girl. And this is the doctor doing the procedure. Now, her job was to take some bone marrow out of my hip bone. Thank heavens I was asleep or out of this world, that's for sure. But I was told that when she went to make the little incision that she needed to get into my back, into my hip, I actually felt it because my legs flexed right out straight. So what you see there in that picture is the nurse holding my legs. So because I had to sit in a fetal position, lay in a fetal position. And so here is the bone marrow they removed. And on the table, I am told some of the tissues that I did not consent to. And this here is the front of the consent form with my hospital details and the like. So, what I'm trying to get at is that you must take control of what happens to you, yourself, your body, and everything that happens to you. Now, listening to Randy Wilson this morning, stopping his children from having their 3-month, 5-month injections, and then after a few goes, I think he was saying, and having to nurse their son through the night after having, I can't think of the word. Anyway, the children's, when they get vaccinated, that's right. And so he stopped all vaccinations for both his boys. So here I feel that I had not given my consent, and I signed a paper. And on the front of this form, it says, I will not be contacted ever again for this procedure of wanting them to collect my tissues. Now, having had a conversation with my uncle, who said it's a very good procedure because they can test your tissue for other patients, to create a procedure, and what to avoid. Because what I want to avoid is having more chemo. Because back in 2008, when I had my first round of chemo, it ran havoc all over me. But being in Australia when I had this procedure, I had to keep working full time to enable to afford the medication that I needed until I was able to get compensated through the medical system. So for 3 months, I had to pay $1,000 for it was a tablet, and I could only get it from the hospital. So that meant me travelling to the hospital every week to get this medicine, because they only gave me enough to last a week. And then I'd go back the following week and get another lot. And I did that for 3 months until I was able to use the medical system in Perth, Australia. And then I was able to get it free. Now that's good and well. But earlier, before I had this procedure, I was 54 when I had this procedure, and was informed that 3 years earlier, had I got it when I turned 50, I would not have been offered any treatment whatsoever, because you only had a 2 to 3 year window. And so they don't offer it at that time. So that would be about 2005. They would never offer it to anybody over 50. And so how lucky was I that when I got my cancer in 2008, a new procedure had just come on the market. And this tablet cost me $1,000 a month until I got onto the medical system. And then I still had to go to the hospital because you couldn't get that medicine in your local chemist. So that was another nuisance. So I'm going through this because, to me, whether you don't give your consent or not, they're still going to do what they want to do. Now, luckily, I have an uncle in the system who's part of the tissue area, who's going to make sure that my form was adhered to. Now, this is where I want to take you down to the next page. Okay. So here we have where they want you to do this. Implants. And what an appropriate figure to have on the page to do with implants. Now, here up here is birth control. My daughter and them now can get this like it looks like a matchstick that's implanted under their arm so they don't become pregnant. Now, what's the bet? It's just a matter of time that with a whole lot of advancement, they'll be able to tell you, oh, you can get pregnant now. No, you can't get pregnant. You know, it's to me, it's like a control thing. They will have control over who has a baby and who doesn't, sooner or later. At the moment, this is just looks like a matchstick, but it does the job because so many of my nieces and my grandnieces have got this little implant in their arm to stop them from getting pregnant. But how long does it last? You know, really, what am I thinking? I'm thinking, well, when we come to this stage, and you know, looking at it here, it's not much bigger. It's a bit wider, but not as long as a matchstick, but very lethal nonetheless, because it's loaded with your data. You'd be lucky you'd be able to go to the toilet without them knowing that as well. What would you think? And so, with all this, and what's happened to me up here, this here, I believe, can cure anything. Yes, this is cannabis growing wildly, but being manufactured legally. Now, here in New Zealand, in an undisclosed place as yet, a big, huge factory has been acquired, and all these businessmen are jumping in to fund this hemp farm. That's what it's going to be, a hemp farm, so they can produce the oil that comes from the bud of the cannabis. That's where the oil is, and depending on how high that cannabis grows, it can produce quite a lot of buds. Now, yes, I've done this back in the day, between 19 and 25. I was heavily into the arena of smoking cannabis. But considering what's around now, I believe that what we, as in our mid-teen years to our early 20s, is nothing compared to what's available on the market now. So, but my consensus on this is that why is this not legal? Why? Because the pharmaceuticals need you to buy their medication. Now, if there's something out there that cures 99% of what's wrong in this world, of the illnesses and the cancers, you know, chemo is not helping anybody. That have you believe that? It's the amount of dollars that enter the doctor's pocket that says you've got cancer. Now, I was trying to look for a video that I had seen of many people in a small town in America, where all they did was tip a small helping of hemp oil on their finger and just rub it on the inside of their gums. And many of them were being cured of cancer. But no, if the pharmaceuticals didn't want that. They didn't want a quick fix. Now, the person who invented the oil wasn't liked at all, to the point that he had to run. He had to hide because they were after him for creating this new medicine that people could pick up for $20. So they don't want you to buy that. They want you to buy their medicine that will keep you hanging on, that'll keep you sick, as ill as they can keep you ill. And so I get it, why these people need to be eradicated. As much as poverty needs to be eradicated, so do these people, these elite people, these wealthy people who seem to think that what they create in a lab is what you need. But you don't need it. Look at this picture here. This is what you need. And we're going to be producing it on a grand scale. But and then you get the guys who know what it's all about to grow it. You know, happy days for some people, but strictly under control. So all this leading into a cashless society. You know, I was very disturbed when I saw the 666 right along one of these. You know, it was all your info in it. And I just wanted to give a broad outcome on what the powers that be can do, even though you've not given your consent. See, can you see the tick there? I do not consent to my tissues. But you know, like I said, I had a conversation with my uncle, and he said it's a good thing. Well, you know, I was in two minds at the time of this procedure, because I had this in mind. Is it two different things? Well, I don't know. But it told me that, you know, if a piece of me was going to get put away, for what purpose? To create something to create a medicine that it could help heal or cure what I have, multiple myeloma. And what do I say to that? Here's the cure. But my practitioner's not going to tell me that. I could say it out loud, and he can just sit there and listen. He's not going to agree, but he's not going to disagree. So that tells me a lot. And like I said, just a matter of time before this little matchstick here will become something like this, without the poor person knowing that there's more than a what do we call it, a subdermal implant to stop you from getting pregnant. I mean, what would a young teenager know? Whether that matchstick is full of her information. I don't know. She won't know. Who knows? But I believe it's just a matter of time before they create something similar to this and cover it up like that. Is it possible? Anything's possible. So I'll stop sharing my screen there. Come back over here. So yeah, I'm not disillusioned or anything. I believe that yes, the medical society will have us believe that the new things that they create in the lab, the tablets, the the serums, are they helping or are they prolonging? So you need to keep purchasing. Now, TBC's got that picture right, you know, but it's up to us. It's up to the power of the people to not let this happen, you know. Create a movement. Don't let the powers that be, don't let the elite and the rich and the wealthy take over your life. Because if you've had the opportunity to watch the movie Thrive, which I thank Diana Gordon very much for pointing me in that direction, and I've watched it more than 3 times, and everything in there. So I advise you to go on YouTube and look for Thrive, the movie, and so many truths come out of that video. You know, they want total control, a one world government of employees. You know, the Māoris will do the haka first thing they hear of that, and you know, we're scary enough on the football field without doing it to a governmental department. So I'd like to think that people will think about what I'm talking about. You know, don't give your consent until you've really talked it over. Now, what I should have done with that consent form is to come home and converse with my family. You know, I should have brought it home and said, look, this is what they want to do. How do you feel about it? Because my children's opinion matter to me. And if it means that I can help create a cure for something or for what I have, but it just didn't sit well with me. And before I went under the anaesthetic, I said no. And it was only for the fact that my sister was allowed to come into the surgery and watch the procedure and took photos. So, you know, and it was very sore the next day. It was like a bus had hit me. Like I had backed into a bus because it was right on your bum bone or hip bone, you know. And now I'm on 10 steroids a day, 5 days on, 4 days off. So there's more added expense. You know, besides the blood thinners, the aspirin, a tablet that stops me from getting an upset tummy. But look at the tablets. Look at the tablets that I've got to buy. Nothing's for free. And 5 days of 10 steroids, and 4 days off. Where does it end? Well, I'm not quite sure the treatment they're going to give me this round. I've already had a stem cell transplant, and believe it or not, it was quite an interesting procedure when I had it back in 2008. But I was informed that the second round will be a bit harsher, but I'm up for it. So just take care of what you consent to, who you allow permission to take your tissues or to implant something in you. Now our teenagers are having this stick put in their arm like nobody's business. How long will it be before they're under the control of those who put those sticks in their arms? We had all sorts of tablets back in the day for contraception. They worked and they did work. You missed out, oops, you're in trouble. But just beware that when you're signing a consent form, read it through, just like you read the blog. And then that picture that TBC brings out about putting the little something into your hand. Beware of things like that. Because now you can get surgical teeth, take a tooth out and they immediately implant another tooth back in. So the gums will close around that tooth. What's to say they can't put a tracking device in there? I know it all sounds far-fetched, but same as reality are coming to light now. You've got to be careful. So that was something I really, really wanted to share with you. So now I'm going to go and have a look at the blog because I have not too much to catch up on, because today, honestly, I felt so happy to be back into visiting the broadcasters, and to doing my living. So let's go and have a look at the blog. Okay, we'll start here. Well, I'm happy for this redemption period extension until June the 15th, 2018 notice. So your crinkle cash. Now, last night I had the honour of Malcolm Brown and his brother Vince Brown. They had come around to check out how to do their migration. Now, unfortunately, the Crinkle Cash back office and the billioncoin.info back office were down. I couldn't even get into the web wallet. And unfortunately, nothing could be done while they were here. But in having a look, Michael Elu had put up a post, warning everybody that they were having some difficulties with these back offices. So here we are. Crinkle Cash is back up, and so is the billioncoin.info. It's back to normal now. So that's great. That's great that these things are back up and running, because, the minute something starts to happen, have you noticed that the minute something happens that's not going forward, people jump up and down like bloody monkeys. And they start being a crybaby and, without even bothering to look to see what's the matter. Because the instant something happens with TBC, you guarantee a blog's going to go up. But do you think they're going to come here and have a look? No way. They're just going to go on Facebook, and then they're going to get in anybody they can find that's in TBC and chuck a post in there or message at them. The back office is not up. What do I do? What's going on? Where's TBC admin? Oh my gosh. And it goes on and on. But to come to the blog and see where admin is at, That's all they have to do, because all admin is doing is trying to fix the problem that they're jumping up and down about. I've touched base with some of the major leaders in TBC, and we have agreed to extend the cookie rewards redemption period again until June 15th, 2018. Now, I'm very, very happy about that. Why? Because, well, I've migrated, and so I'm waiting for my web wallet to load, and many of my people, it doesn't matter because I've redeemed my cookie rewards, so you can never predict what's going to happen. And I pretty much redeemed my cookie rewards straight after the send button last week. But in saying that, and I did the migration, and I've been waiting since last week. But we all know the work that TBC admin has to do. So don't panic, people. The downtime yesterday was at a critical time for us, and we just want to make sure everyone has plenty of time to clear their personal backlogs of completing transactions on the https://tbc004.net wallet, and to verify all of those transactions inside of the Kringle Cash website. So the buyers will get all of the cookies they are entitled to at this time during this redemption period. Now, I was hoping to get a new sign-up through the migration so he can purchase some cookies, and with the extension now happening, be able to redeem them. So everyone can then move over to the new coin network and start using the 009.net wallet by migrating to it. So if you've gone over and your sponsor has not yet gone over, unless you find somebody who can transact with you in the new wallet, your sponsor can't do transactions from the old wallet to the new wallet. So just be aware of that. But if you're waiting for your sponsor to come over and that's the one you want to deal with, well, then that's fine. But just be aware of that your sponsor, if he or she is still on the old, the 004, they will not be able to do transactions for you in the 009.net. All right? So Kringle Cash has become our main website, and my technology team and I were not pleased how the current hosting service handled the situation yesterday. So we are going to move to a different host. You see, you're getting so well looked after by the TBC admin. All you have to do is come to the blog, follow their instructions, and read the blog. Become a student of the blog. You know, Stephen Cuffey, he says that all the time. Become a student of the blog. Don't just read it. Study it. And pinpoint the major points. But, you know, to me, every blog is a major point. Because I couldn't pick out anything individual, because everything I read, everything I take part in on the blog is important. We have websites and servers all over the world and use several hosting services for TBC. Based on experience, we have one hosting service that we feel is superior to all the others, and it will cost admin a couple of $100 a month more to use them instead. But we believe that this is the right thing to do at this time. So admin is using money, their own money, to keep you or us, the TBC community, not only in the loop, but safe and moving through steadily and in a rightful manner. We have already provisioned a top-of-the-line dedicated server from them, and within the next 48 hours, we will move the Crinkle Cash domain over to that new server. So the Crinkle Cash domain over to the new server. So, all work going on, admin always thinking, 48 hours. When we make the move, the website the website will go down again for a couple of hours while the new location for the domain propagates throughout the global node network of the internet. So just be aware when that time comes. So, they have to move us over to the new server, and then our back office has to propagate. So, you've got to get your panel or your links on the side, your broadcast, everything that's in the Crinkle Cache has to come through the new server. So just be aware, no need to jump up and down, because things will come right. And they're doing everything in their power to make sure that happens. Okay. So we'll go back here. So I'm very happy that I'm back doing my broadcast. Now, my last thing I want to touch on. Now, I know that it's not the easiest thing for people to sit in front of their laptop, their desktop, their phone, their iPads, doing a broadcast. To some people, is probably such a scary thing to do. But let me tell you, people, I had some of the scariest moments because I didn't want to be looking back at myself. But I'm so happy I took that leap of faith in me, because only me can do the broadcast. And so I took that leap of faith. It wasn't the best first broadcast I'd ever done, and probably the second wasn't the best one either. But I progressed. I got better. The anxiety levels went down. I had some real pretentious moments, and it was almost that I was laughing at myself. But what was so funny? Because here I was being allowed to broadcast, to get a message out there that was only going to help me. And now, and because I've been off for a few days, getting back onto it, into the broadcast, was vital to me. 3 days to me seemed like a long time. May have been 4. But I couldn't wait to start. Now, please, if you feel that you would like somebody to walk you through doing a broadcast. I'd be so happy to help you. Don't be scared to do a broadcast, because why I say this is this. Now, I was going to go through that table. Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there. Now, this is what I'm trying to talk about. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's just go back here. And hopefully I can find it. This is it. Nope, that's not it. Maybe a second, just bear with me. I know it's not far away. Websites, the hosts and they do the panel. Okay, so touch base with the leaders. It's here somewhere. Let me go down a bit further. Is this it here? Sorry, people, bear with me. No, that's not it. No, I could find it just like that today. Okay, here we go. So, here we go with 2 classes of cookie rewards. So here we have it. Now, the reason for you to do your broadcast has got to be overwhelming with these figures here. Okay, look what the broadcaster gets. Cookies. The gift of 25,000 cookies, which equates to 0.00025 TBC. The old Kringle, the new Kringle. But this is where it gets juicy. Meetings, 1 million for a broadcaster to turn up to the meetings. That's the weekly send button meeting, okay? Now look at this big difference. If you become a broadcaster and you purchase your $100 worth of cookies, you get 1 TBC, and that equates to 100 million cookies. Now look at that difference. They said they were going to give that a broadcaster deserves 1,000 times more than a person that's just come along to take a look, to take a ride, to wait for everybody to do the work for them. So that is why I stress that being a broadcaster can only enhance your ability to want to do it. Your referrals, 1 billion for 10. That's 10 TBC for getting 100 members. So that works out to the same as the basics, but it's in here. Your $100 purchase that sets the broadcaster apart from basic cookie rewards. Now, so come to this blog, take a look, see the difference. Just let yourself, if you get an anxiety attack, just calm, just be calm. If doing a 3-minute video will help, to put in the testimonial area, and then work it up to 5 minutes, say, to the point that doing a 30-minute slot will, become easier and easier. And then you will have the opportunity to look back at your very first video as you go forward. Oh dear, I've gone way off my time. That's how I was so happy to get back. So, this is Julz and Paekau coming to you from Auckland, New Zealand. Now, I am a trusted seller. I am here to help in any way I can. If you have questions, let me know. If you need to do transactions before we migrate over, or you need some transactions approved, I am here to help you. Believe you me. And if you're an orphan looking for a sponsor and you need somebody to care about what you're doing, how you're feeling, where you're at, well then Julz and Paekau is the one for you. So for now, I'm so happy to be back in the broadcasting set. And for now, I will sign off. And I'm so happy that my spots have been booked for 6 p.m. I couldn't slot my broadcasting today, but I was going to do it anyway. So I will see you at 6 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time tomorrow. I am in slot 37 and look forward to doing broadcast number 56. Number 56. Now, in saying that, I've dropped way behind, but my broadcasts will have begun again. And so thank you all. And I'll catch up with all of you again from Julz and Paekau, the TBC community. Bye for now.